Welcome back to Khaldor TV, everybody. Welcome back to YouTube. We have another Heroes of the Storm match, and today it's a best of 3 series. It's the semifinal of the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final. A lot of finals in there. But we have a pretty cool matchup, actually. We have a lot of variety in the games that you're going about to see, and the teams are Polish team Puszek, and they are going up against Kappa. So two of the teams that haven't been picked up by an organization yet, but both of the teams very good, and they usually are in the later rounds of the tournaments or even in the finals. And we're kicking things off today with a match on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And of course, once again, we're going to see Azmodan here. Puszek team right at the beginning committed. These days, when you actually draft for Tomb of the Spider Queen, like both teams usually dance around each other a little bit with that in the back of their head, having just that thought of Azmodan. Do they pick it? Do we pick it? Does somebody ban it out and sacrifice the ban for it? Yes or no? And in this case, Puszek team right at the beginning said like, alright, you know what? Azmodan is ours. They have a Johanna to help out with the stacking process, and they also rely here on a bit of damage with a Nazebo and a Falstad. So an Azmodan composition for them, trying to survive of course the early game, and on the other side we're having more of an aggressive composition for Kappa, trying to run this with a Muradin and also a Tyrande. So that sniper squad that we oftentimes see on the map. They even play a double tank here with the Leoric, so he can push in the lanes as well. So both of the teams know, and of course, exactly what they're in for. Tomb of the Spider Queen is a great map for Azmodan, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So guys, get ready for game number 1 between Kappa and Puszek in this best of 3 series. Welcome everybody! Welcome ladies and gentlemen, the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final, and we are in semifinal number 1. To the left side of the map, it is Puszek team. We have Ibrahim on Azmodan, Kreko Nazebo, GoTerra on Johanna, Juf on Uther, and Zubek on Falstad. To the right side of the map, their opponents, in this case is of course Kappa, and we're seeing Escape on Leoric, Conti on Malfurion, Sypho on Muradim, Tomzin Tyrande, and Muppet on Vala. This is going to be a pretty fun one, to be honest with you, just because in terms of the draft and how it went, I really think that Puszek team has a pretty solid advantage here. They secured themselves the Azmodan early on, and they drafted a very good lineup. Not only do they have the Johanna for the stacking process, but they also have with Falstad and with Nazebo 2 heroes that are very good at pushing the opponent back and just allowing them to survive long enough so that they can really utilize Azmodan in the late game. Whereas on the other hand, that sniper squad that we are seeing for Kappa should be one that they can dodge. But time will tell, of course. The draft might have ended in favor of Puszek, but still, they have to finish the game first, and there might be 1 or 2 surprises that Kappa has for us. For now, stacking process is of course going to be a bit of a slower one, I feel. If you commit to a Muradin and Tyrande, you already signal very early in the game that you want to get your early game kills, and that is exactly what we're currently seeing from Kappa. They're trying to deal with that stacking process a bit. But so far, Azmodan at least getting a few stacks in. We're going to talk about that in a bit, but they need to be careful here. Johanna taken out, and well, that's exactly what we've been mentioning earlier, that Tyrande and the Muradin, they can do a lot of work here. Tyrande now in the mid lane, trying to soak the experience. So at this point, the real important part for Puszek is really just to survive until they have the Azmodan with enough stacks. He should not engage into any team fights early on. The problem is not really that he doesn't do the damage. If you have like 100 stacks, you can really already commit to a team fight and say like, alright, I'm going to do a bit of damage here. The problem is that every single Globe of Annihilation that you throw into a team fight is one that you're missing against minions. And that's a pretty big issue. So that's always a problem, since it just slows down your stacking process, and your opponent is already going to try and do that for you and try to delay you for as long as they can, so no real reason to help them out with that. Bot lane, that's where we're having Kreko versus Muppet currently. Muppet on his Vala, with Kreko nearly running into that wall of zombies. Up at the top, of course, that's where we're currently seeing the escape, the jump in. Zubek just barely getting away here, and they are going straight for Sypho. The builds that we're seeing, by the way, pretty cool, especially since we're having now Meteor Makers apparently making a bit of an impression on other teams. There is on level 1 that Seasoned Marksman on Falstad, so that's already indicating that we're going to see this auto attack build, and against a double tank, there's a lot of sense in that, since we want to make sure that after level 13, when you get access to your Giant Killer, you get a lot of damage in against those 2 tanks and really push them back. And it would also force them into talents like Imposing Presence, so that can be quite strong if you force, for example, a Mirrodin away from Stone Form. Terra already has to heal up here. Again, we have level 4 for both of the teams now. Looking at Azmodan, of course, since he's one of the key heroes in the game. Well, that's the Zebo. That's Azmodan, and he's currently at 20 stacks. So you can really tell that Kappa is doing quite a decent job making sure that they're not getting the stacks in too fast. A good kill also against Uther. Puszek, in this case, actually starting to fall behind a bit in the early game. Not playing this as well as they should. They need to be a bit more careful here, and also at the same time try to really utilize Azmodan. But eventually he's going to get his stacks in. The only problem really is that if Kappa is able to get that early game advantage and control over the map, and currently it looks like they are doing exactly that, miss on the globe again. If that happens, then Kappa will be able to get the objectives over and over again and push them back. Tyrande, by the way, in this case, heading into one of those, one of those damage builds that we sometimes see, and I actually find that a bit interesting, the way that they skill it. Virtus Pro plays a Tyrande with searing arrows on level 4, and what they usually do is go for the Seasoned Marksman on level 1, and especially on this map in particular, it's one of their preferred builds. But we're having now an adjustment on the side of Kappa, going into the Ranger's Mark regardless, and then the searing arrows. Not 100% certain if I'm a fan of it. I really feel that they need a bit more damage, and therefore I like that they go into searing attacks, because currently they're relying too heavily on Vala. It's not like Leoric can't deal out damage, but a ranged damage dealer will always have an easier time focusing on a particular target. So in this case, it's going to be Tyrande that will also deliver some of the damage. But they do not take Seasoned Marksman. And on this map in particular, where all of the lanes are so close together that it's really easy to get those stacks in, Seasoned Marksman is just absolutely amazing. It's also interesting to me that we are seeing Gathering Power now taken on the side of Falstad after he took Seasoned Marksman on level 1. If you keep in mind how exactly Meteor Makers, for example, builds their auto attack Falstad, they usually go into the reduction on the barrel roll. The cooldown reduction, that is. There's a couple of other hybrid builds that you can of course go for, so right now basically anything goes, but Chubik is going for a build that still focuses a lot into the burst. He can use that together with the Hinterland Blast here, of course. Now, and here's already flying away. Level 7 is going to hit any second now for Puszek, and there it is, the Polish team now, also with a conviction, of course, the Infernal Globe. We have Gitbin. It is Secret Weapon and Cleanse after Boundless Conviction when it comes to the talents. At the bot lane, there we're having them pushing in again. Thomas is actually extremely low here. Gets healed up by Conti though, but Conti is running out of mana, and fast at that. The top lane, that's where Leoric is currently pressuring Uther, and of course Leoric has an absolutely amazing potential to push in lanes, especially when he goes for Hardened Bones and Lingering Apparition. Then he will always be able to move away from ganks. There are a few other things that you of course can skill with Leoric. We've seen that now over and over again. On level 4 you have also great sustain talents that you can take so that you can stay in lane a bit longer, but if you are afraid that ganks might hit you, then going into the Hardened Bones and Lingering Apparition is definitely the weapon of choice. There's another globe now up to the top, and of course we need to take another look at Azmodan, who's currently at 72 stacks. So he's getting there. It's a little bit slower than you would usually expect on a map like this, but Azmodan is getting those in. Problem is, oh, the heal in the last second. Falstad. Okay, that was dumb. Seriously, I mean, come on, why turn around here? You know that Malfurion is gonna Moonfire your ass in a second. Why turn around and make it easier for him? He might have gotten the kill either way, but in this case, just turning around and throwing in another hammer was not really necessary. So it's 3 kills against 0. It's roughly a level lead that we're currently seeing for them, but yeah. Bot lane, that's where we still have Kreku and Muppet going against each other. Muppet here went for a full arrow build, by the way. Like, he went for the repeating arrow on level 7. We have him also at the same time then with the 2 arrows before that, puncturing and siphoning arrow. And in the mid lane, that's still where we're seeing most of the pressure from Kappa. Kappa, of course, they know that they're a bit on the clock here. Once Azmodan is really getting the damage in, and the Zebo is, for example, able to hit his level 16 for the Leaping Spiders, it's going to be a bit more difficult for them to make an impression here. But they have an early level 10. It's a level lead that they have, and that should allow a second turn in. Is currently, well, they have 60 gems, so they could definitely turn in now. We have Entomb used, Avatar, Starfall, Reign of Vengeance, and Tranquility has been chosen as the heroic abilities for Kappa. We're seeing them at the bot lane still only with Vala, but they're starting to turn in here, and there is absolutely nothing. There's nothing that Puszek can do about this. They have to deal with those, and they will probably lose their first fort here now. So we're gonna see how exactly that's gonna go for them, because, well, they need that half level so that they can find their own heroic abilities and just like push against Kappa. Kappa is dominating the early game as expected, but Puszek yeah, they are still going strong so far at least. But they will lose a few structures right now, and that will of course bring even a bigger advantage in experience for Team Kappa. There's the Entomb against Uther. Starfall being used as well, but he gets away. Not really the best combo that we saw there. Only getting one, and he is now also in possession of a Divine Shield. So we have Gary the Gargantuan, the Black Pool, Hinterland Blast. Oh, alright. Also, Azmodan not focusing on minions, but trying to put some hero damage in. We're seeing the Divine Shield in use as Fawcett was saved here. Go Terra with another Condemn. They have a lot of gems, by the way. 79 at this point. Could try and move out with that. But the mid fort is gone, and the bot lane, Kreku gets stunned once, twice, and barely gets away, I wanted to say, and then I saw Muradin moving in. Yep, that was a flank that he apparently was not prepared for. So yeah. There is another. This is actually starting to do ton damage. Uberim now has a fair stack count. We're gonna take another look at that, of course. So at this point, the Azmodan stacks are at 124. As mentioned before, it's not really an amazing stack count for Tomb of the Spider Queen, but Azmodan is having a bit of an easier time now getting the stacks together, as you can see here. So, given time, he is going to end up at that stack count. It's just a question of how much Kappa can really push up against this. The blue Web Weavers are now descending for the first time, and that is a really important part now for Team Puszek, because first of all, it's going to buy them some time. They might be able to take a few of the towers down. That's additional experience that they get, and then they can take it from there. So, they're just like starting things up now. We have once again, the hits, nice timing now. At the beginning, they were really struggling. You could tell. Azmodan, 4 minutes in, or was it 3, had like 20 stacks. That's absolutely nothing. But by now, he's really finding his stride. He moves in, Johanna helps out with the Condemn, with Punish. And they are now going up against the first structures. And you can already tell that, especially with Kraken moving into and using Gary the Gargantuan here, they can do a lot. Escape, trying to move in here. Keep in mind that on level 13, we're also going to see Giant Killer for Falstad, and he is going to be another big threat to the two tanks. And if they have to go into opposing presence, both of them, then, for example, Johanna won't be able to take the Blessing Hammer. Leoric will also have to decide what exactly he wants to do there. Imposing presence for him is great as well. But right now we have them with the level 13 talents first, as we are still seeing Puszek team in position. Leoric actually goes into the spell shield. Smart kid, making sure that Azmodan is not going to get too much damage in. We should see the same for Vala. So far, Muppet hasn't really chosen anything for his hero, but I wouldn't... Oh, wow! That's a very, very confident player there. Muppet with Vala saying, spell shield? What is that? I don't need that shit. I'm just going to go straight into my frost shot regardless. Tyrande was taken out, and that's the first kill that we've seen for Puszek. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting now, because the level 13 talent is going to help. Yeah, Uberim needs to hit those a bit better, but right now he has another chance, or will have another second. The Red Web Weavers again descending, the Scape already moving away. Level 13 talents any second now for Puszek, and well, here they are. So, with the level 13s coming in, they don't choose, they're just like, we're not going to do that, here we go. Okay, so the March of Sin, we have one sprint taken on Zebo. Well, it is at least one spell shield that we are seeing now for them. They're using it on Uther to keep him alive a bit longer in these fights, and there's the Giant Killer, and also Hold Your Ground, which is another important talent, but Giant Killer is going to be the real important one. So give you a bit of an idea what's currently happening here in terms of like damage. We have plus 200. We are 11 minutes in, so Azmodan still a bit slowed down. Falstad is on 24, Seasoned Marksman stacks. Not really too impressive. I mean, I've been talking about it a bit, but still, it can do quite some damage if you are able to drag it out into the later stages of the game, so that's what they're currently trying to do. We're having, at the same time, now the top lane being pushed again. By the way, there's a counter at the bot lane where one of the forts is now down. It's still a 1-level lead that we're seeing. Oh, nice. The Spider actually preventing Kreku from teleporting. Up at the top lane, there's the move with the Spider going in again. Level 15 versus nearly level 14 here. Uberim, is he going to go for another? Yes, there's the Black Pool, and he hits it. Full home, great. Takes the entire wave, gets a lot of stacks. Chubik with the barrel roll, dodging the quick attempt of Tomzi to lock him down. It's even talents at this point, but not for long. And there's another wave being hit right over here. So Azmodan is really just getting like hit after hit after hit in. At this point, when you're already so behind in your stacks, you should really try that every time the cooldown is ready, you have another globe set up. GoTerra unfortunately screws up the timing a bit to get this stack because the Globe of Annihilation is not able without the black pool to really take it on. So you should have used the Condemn a bit earlier. I'm not quite sure, that happened a couple of times already now, so I'm not 100% certain what exactly happens here, but maybe it's a problem of communication in voice, or it's just that their cooldowns weren't ready for it. Yeah, the stun attempt. Nah, the Blessed Shield was already used. Divine Shield. Juve is using the Divine Shield for GoTerra just to be on the safe side. It's of course a bit annoying to have two heroic abilities used just to get away there, but what else are they going to do? They have to do something. Now, once again, the stacking process is currently ongoing. They have that one level lead, Kappa that is. And Kappa has been playing quite the aggressive game, but they have only 4 kills right now. So they're using that. We have one imposing presence taken. Only one though. Muradin still decided that Stoneform would be the better talent for him. Uh-oh, cleanse. Nice. Good cleanse here by Juve. Very well played. Puszek is jumping away as he sees the root of Malfurion on the ground. So well done. And now, once again, of course, the pressure in the mid lane with the entire Kappa team in position. Terra moves in. And the damage against Muradin is too much. He moves away now as well. Doesn't really want to stay there and take the damage, especially not from Falstad, who is, of course, getting more and more dangerous, especially to Muradin. He's going to focus on Muradin a lot. Muradin went, by the way, full Stormbolt build. So he's trying to get the extra damage on his hero now too. And just to give you a bit of an idea, we have 30 extra damage now thanks to Seasoned Marksman on the side of Falstad. Muradin himself has 70 extra damage, 75 now on his Stormbolt. So he's getting a lot of these in. Talking Azmodan for a second, we have Azmodan with 300. So Azmodan with 300 stacks is now starting to really reach a level where he can make some plays. Or talking about plays, and Tomb being used. Iron Skin on Johanna keeps her alive. Kreku jumps away, gets locked down though. And that's the end of Nazebo. Very good move by Muppeteer in particular, making sure that he gets his Reign of Vengeance in, so job well done. Puszek has to retreat. 5 kills against 1, level 16, nearly 17 versus 15. But again, keep in mind that the longer the game goes, the stronger Azmodan and Falstad are going to get here. The same is also true for Cypher though. At some point he's going to dish an enormous amount of siege damage out against any kind of structure that he hits. Well, there's another hit, and you can really tell by the numbers that it's now more than 1,000 damage that he can dish out. The move up to the top. The boss, apparently they're going to let him go. Uberine will hit one glow, but yeah, only does a bit of damage to Muppet. Healed out by Malfurion immediately. Malfurion in general is like an amazing hero against any kind of Azmodan composition. The only thing that could really be a bit of a problem in the later stage of the game is that Malfurion didn't commit to Life Seed on level 13, and it's a great talent against an Azmodan player. You have, of course, always to weigh the ups and downs, because right now, if you go for Life Seed, then you're missing your Ice Block. Ice Block helps you to dodge one of those big globes that comes in, and if your opponent focuses on you, then you're in trouble. But I really feel that with the setup that we are seeing here on the side of Puszek, they could have gone for his Life Seed. If he positions himself well, then Ice Block isn't really something that he necessarily needs, and the heals are just super important in a game like this if Azmodan gets into that later stage of the game. Bot lane is now being pushed again, and in this case it's another fort that is taken out. The level 16 talents are now ready on the side of Team Puszek as well, and they're having one imposing presence on Johanna. We're seeing the blood for Azmodan, Leaping Spiders, Benediction, and in this case Hammer Time, so the mini stun that we have. And top lane is currently, okay, they're being back here, trying to save the wall. It's a really fair lead in experience that we're seeing for Kappa, so they have been doing quite well, but you can really tell that it's one of those games where both of the teams know that they will have their strengths with the compositions at some point in the game, and Kappa is going to try and push theirs, but Uberim with his Azmodan is starting to become extremely strong. He has more than 300 stacks by now. We have again another globe hitting home, and he's just farming the waves, and it's not only the farming the waves any longer, it's really just pushing the waves back and making sure that you have some kind of map control that still belongs to Kappa to a certain extent. They get another Web Weaver wave now too, and they are of course getting more and more expensive for them as well. So right now they are just trying to push one of those keeps in, but so far unsuccessful. Puszek is gonna get away here. That Entomb was a bit of a desperate move by Escape. Good hits though. Now we're suddenly starting to see quite a bit of damage, and Leoric gets taken out. Puszek on his falls that does so much damage at this point. This guy is really strong. And I mean, Azmodan alone has 350 stacks now, so he's really getting somewhere. But when we're talking Falstad, then we have him now at 35 extra damage, and with Giant Killer and everything else that he currently has, he can really take those 2 tanks down quite easily. But we still have to admit, of course, that Leoric has imposing presence, so that's going to play a role here now too. Good hits, yeah, very good hits. Muppet actually in a bit of trouble. He should not run with the wave in this case, because that's the priority target for Azmodan still, since he needs to get more stacks in. We also see Falstad with 2 gathering power stacks. That's going to help him for the Hinterland Blast. It's the only talent that really benefits from it right now, except of course for his basic abilities. So yeah, trying to lock down Mirrodin. Yeah, here comes the stun, and now Chubik can move in. He knows that the stun is in cooldown. There comes the Entomb. A lot of damage against Mirrodin. Mirrodin is blocked by Leoric. He's blocked and he dies. Leoric making sure that Mirrodin cannot jump away. He himself is now in trouble as well, but so is Gotero. He gets hit by an owl here, and very good move. So it's currently 2 for 1, but another kill against Falstad. Well played here in the back line. There's still another attempt to lock down Kreku. A 2 for 2, but still no keep down. And during all of this, Falstad gets more and more damage in. We have Azmodan with more and more globes. He's at 400 damage now. He needs 100 more, and then he will be at the max damage. The top lane, that's really where they did the most work though, because here they were able to also get the keep nearly. At this point we have Muppet, Tomsy and Conti just still roaming the map here and trying to get the camps away, so they steal the Bruiser camp. I actually have no idea who's going to win this, because Kappa is still ahead, and they have been ahead in the entirety of the game. They will hit their level 20s now any second. The issue still is that Falstad and Azmodan are gonna be absolute bosses in the late game, and that's why we are going to see on level 20 probably a very different scenario here. Talking about Mirrodin for a second, he currently has an extra damage of 115. Give you a bit of an update on his stacking process. We're seeing now another Bruiser camp moving into the middle, and Tyrande, with a build that she chose with the Searing Arrows on level 4, went now into the Nexus Frenzy. It's a very different build from what we see on Virtus Pro. I have to admit that I personally think that Virtus Pro build on Tyrande is a bit cleaner when it comes down to the damage. They go for Hunter's Fury on level 13, which is purely for damage, of course. If you go for Overflowing Light, you have a healer and a half basically in the game with Malfurion, so that's pretty cool. But if it's really about the damage, then Hunter's Fury is a bit better for you. Oh, they're moving in again, trying to lock down Johanna, but she was just waiting for that stun on Tyrande, and therefore we had the Iron Skin still ready, still in cooldown. Moving in again, and it looks like they're going to hit level 20. And once they have level 20, they're going to have very strong talents here, especially Falstad with the Nexus Frenzy is going to be the one who can dish out a ton of damage in these fights. We've been talking about his prowess against the tanks already, but with Nexus Frenzy, that reaches completely different dimensions. Up here, they need to be careful. Good dodge, and Terror is in the middle of things. Uh-oh. Gets cleansed, maybe Divine Shielded! Oh, Indestructible already proccing, and now the fight is on. Entomb has been used, Terra gets healed up, they need to try and turn around, maybe Kreku with a sprint, tries to get away, Falstad with the Divine Shield, he's trying to get the damage in, Nexus Frenzy doing a lot of work, but the Rain of Vengeance about to lock them down, Iron Skin used on Johanna, but now Terra has no escape left to him, and he is about to die. I have no idea what Uberim was trying to hit there, no matter what that was. It looked like Azmodan is a bit drunk here, because that didn't hit anything, and it looked like a very easy ball for him. So yeah, right now we have Falstad with 40 stacks. They defended against that. The problem really is that with them losing their tank, it's now time for, again, Kappa to move up to the top and just say like, hey, this boss is ours. Azmodan can deal with that a bit and can throw another globe in, but I'm not quite sure if they can really contest it, but apparently they're trying to. I am not sure if that is a good idea. There comes a good hit, and yeah, unfortunately didn't really hit a hero, but that was a good attempt. That was a good attempt, a solid one. Oh, smart. Flying away, Chubik keeps himself alive. He has to. 42 extra damage, that's important. Well, that didn't hit anything either. A nice prediction shot, but unfortunately for them didn't work out. The problem is they're going to lose that keep either way. That keep is falling. Like, you can't save that. It's just impossible. Bam, it's gone. The mid keep, then again, is now attacked by Kappa too. Kappa with solid damage here. They could even rotate down and try and take the one at the bot lane, and that's actually what they are probably going to try. Falstad here, let me have a look at Azmodan and the stacking process. 484, so it's going to be at 500 in just a bit. 492, so we're just going to accept at this point that he's going to be on 200 or on 500 in a bit. But with 4 kills against 8, Kappa is still in the lead. And yeah, the last few fights weren't looking too bad for Puszek, but still they need to do a bit more damage here. And they definitely have the means to do so. Turn-ins would be quite cool for them too when they're trying to get that, but we already have Muppet moving in and trying to disrupt the process. Terror with the zoning, but a bit too late. Here comes another stun. They are really annoying, even committing to a Starfall for this one, but Tyrande is gone. Very nice initiation. Here comes the Divine Shield and Tomb, everything on Falser, but he doesn't care. Ice Block in this case, preventing the Hinterland Bass from doing any damage whatsoever, but Puszek moves in with the Nexus Frenzy. He does a ton of work now against these two tanks, as mentioned. We still have Uther down, but it doesn't really matter too much. He already has his heroic ability on level 20. He needs to heal Falstead though, and he does! Barrel roll cooldown seems to be still ongoing, so he needs to move away. It's a 5 versus 4 still though, and they are going in up against Leoric, who moves away with the Wraith Walk. Uberim hits another ball, hits at least the tower, and Escape was nearly dying there. Muradin jumps away, but he can't of course save that keep, or that fort. You can't do that. We currently have over here Kreko, Uberim, and the rest of them also in position to turn in now finally, and that's a turn in that they finally get as well. 500 stacks on Azmodan, so we are maxed out for him. We currently have 46 additional damage points on Falstead. If you look at Nazebo, by the way, he currently has 191 Death Ritual stacks, so quite a lot here too. So a lot of bonus damage, sort of bonus health and bonus mana. But yeah, just to give you a bit of an update of what exactly is happening here in terms of the stacking processes. A lot of the heroes that we're seeing for Puszek really benefits from the later stages of the game. We are 24 minutes in, 2 keeps down for Puszek, and they of course need to really make some moves here. 5 kills against 9, so they're not looking at a too shabby position. Stun attempt using the heroic ability, but apparently GoTerra missing the Blessed Shield. That's unfortunate, since it's one of the best initiation processes that they have right now. The ability should have hit. Here comes a good hit though, and that did some damage to a Cypher and Escape, but Leoric is benefiting from his spell shield in this case. Bot lane, that's where Falstead is pushing the lane in together with the Webweaver. The cool thing for him, Webweaver actually was already defender at the bot lane. Cool thing for him is that he can use his fly in to join up with the rest of the team. That's exactly what he's going to do now. So he's starting to fly up to the top. We have him right here, and now we can meet up with the rest of the boys and try to get that damage in. 50 additional damage on him, and that's a decent hit. Tyrande already on half health. They're destroying the walls as they should, limiting the vision. But Cypher, is he gonna commit to a Storm Bolt? Well, he might. They could turn in again. Well, not complete, but still they have 44. There comes the Iron Skin. Alright, they're gonna try and poke with Azmodan. Poking with Azmodan, getting them low, and try to follow that up with maybe a stun on Juf if he can move in for this one. We already have now the red team, Kappa, trying to turn in their gems. Falstead is really far out. I have to admit that I don't really like his positioning at all, and if there's no Divine Shield, there is, and he would die. Now he can fly away, but he cancels it in the last second. Here comes a jump by Muradin though, and they're moving in once more. Gary is at the front line, and they dish out so much damage against Cypher. Oh, the stun against... Nice Hinterland Blast attempt, but not working out quite. Homzi is really low on Tyrande though, and Cypher already had to use a lot of his abilities, including his his stone form. We have to Escape at the front now. He will have to use Wraith War to get out of there, or will he? No, apparently not. Okay, quick stun from Puszek on his Falstead, gets that in with the level 16 talent. Once again, GoTerra is here. Nice stun against Falstead. He's once again a bit too far out, but is trying to turn around to help out Johanna, but GoTerra is proccing his indestructible talent, and they move back again. Everybody on the side of Kappa, especially the front line, seems to be quite low. Escape heals himself every single time that he can with the Drain Hope. Uberim. Yeah, okay. Can prevent the turn-in, but can't really do anything against Tyrande. I wasn't even trying to go for her. So yeah, Falstead by now at 51 damage. We have the red Webweavers descending again, and Puszek. Yeah, Puszek is in a bit of trouble with those 2 keeps gone. They're still holding their ground, but it's gonna get increasingly difficult for them if they now also lose the bot fort, and that's of course the one that Kappa is gonna try and push in. They already were attempting to take another camp, which didn't really work out for them. They didn't arrive in time, but now with 9 kills against 5, they could try and move in and make another play here. If in case that you haven't seen the builds yet, here's another quick look for you. Redemption, of course, on Uther, if you weren't aware. And here comes the move up at the bot lane. And so far, it looks like, yeah, Puszek isn't ready. The Polish team is not ready for this one. So at this point, they are starting to move in with Sypho, Escape, Muppet, Tomzy, and Conti are there. The flank and Tomb has been used. Hinterland Blast with quite some damage. They're going for Tyrande and for Murden. Murden is starting to drop so much damage on Falstead, but Johanna is the first one to die. A lot of gems. They're all trying to get them, but they can't really go deep enough. There's too many stuns on the side of Kappa. And once more, Murden goes deep, tries to take down Falstead. Falstead is gone, and this could be the beginning of the end. The Web Weavers are already on the core. Kappa is playing a good game here. Puszek team has the means, but they don't have the fight coordination right now. The kill against Uther, a nice globe was hitting there in the end, but it looks very much like this is going to be a game. Yep, 50% on the core, and even though the entire Kappa team is low, it does not matter. They're gonna get this one. Game number 1 ending in their favor here on Tomb of the Spider Queen in the semifinal of the ZOTAC Cup. And Puszek with the Azmodan, they lose the game. I actually think that they had a bit of a shot there at the end if they would have played it a little bit more calmer and collected. But as you could see there, we had Kappa just pushing in, and especially at the beginning, they got a lot of kills and were able to just screw with the stacking process a bit. It took Azmodan a long time to really get those stacks up. So in that time, there was a lot of damage that Kappa could dish out to the structures. Therefore, we have a 1-0 lead now for Kappa, and for Puszek, that means they have to take the next map. And well, they basically have to pick 2 in a row if they really want to advance to the finals. Game number 2 is on Sky Temple, and this time we're actually seeing Kappa with an interesting build, I would say, because their last pick was a bit surprising to me. They had a very good setup with already a double warrior. They went into Muradin with the Johanna, and early on they picked Zagara, which is of course a great solo laner, and this is one of the reasons why Zagara these days is actually being picked oftentimes first or even banned out, because she's so dominant on a lane that she can push it in. She's good for the team fights, can section off part of the opponent's team with the maw, therefore really nice in the battle as well, and solid damage that you can dish out, especially with the Hunter Killer. But as their last pick, they did not go into a lot of additional damage, but Sylvanas. And Sylvanas fell off quite a bit in the last few weeks. She was at some point really the first pick hero for each team, but nowadays we're usually seeing more heavy damage heroes being picked instead of her. And right now, this is of course great to have Zagara and Sylvanas for pushing power, but team fights are going to be very difficult for Kappa in this case. Especially since on the other side we're having a Jaina and also an Azebo together with double warriors. There's for example also an Anubarak, which can always web blast Kappa's Uther and make sure that he's not able to get the Divine Shield out. So maybe Kappa in this case trying to go more for a composition that tries to play around the opponent, using the Maw as a disengage, always moving back and trying to just push in structures. We're going to see how it works out for them, because team fighting, as I said, is going to be a bit tricky. But let's go straight into game number 2 in Sky Temple to find out if Puszek is going to win this one or if Kappa takes it with a 2-0. Alright everybody, game number 2, Puszek versus Kappa, the semi-final of the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final. And to the left side of the map, it is once again the Polish team with the Barim on Nazebo. We have Żółw the Turtle on Malfurion, GoTerra on Anubarak, Kreko in this case is currently playing Jaina. We have Chubek on Arthurs. And to the right side of the map, we are currently seeing the Escape on Murden, Conti on Uther, Sypho on Zagara, Tomzy on Johanna, and Muppet on Sylvanas. So it was actually pretty cool in the last game to see that this Azmodan composition that we had on the side of Puszek was defeated in the late game. I feel that Puszek could have played it a bit better and maybe gotten a 1-0 lead in the series, but Kappa with a very solid performance here and doing a great job with it. So we're gonna check out now what exactly they can do on this map here. And this is of course the map choice that we saw for the Polish team. So it's their map, and they have very heavy focus on especially Regeneration Masker, which they run on both of their tanks. It's a great talent to take, especially after the last patch where it was even buffed. At least when you have, like, I think the threshold is 24 or 26 Regeneration Master stacks or globes, and after that it's just so much better than the old Regeneration Master, which is pretty damn good. So yeah, very solid. GoTerra is already at the bot lane here, dealing with Zagara, and they're trying to hide Muppet on Sylvanas. If you go for Zagara, oh, Terra is realizing that something's awry here and says like, no way. Sorry Conti, but you're not gonna stun me. A tri lane at the bot lane, and now all of a sudden they're really putting in the pressure. Sylvana surprised me a bit during the draft because I expected them to go for more damage, something that we can really push back a lane and also do hero damage. With Sylvanas, they have an amazing pushing hero, of course, and that's already very clear at bot lane, where we're seeing Terra pretty much helpless against this onslaught, especially with Zagara, and now Sylvanas throwing that first tower here down, so good job by them. Uberim rotated to help them out here. But if you have Zagara, Sylvanas, then of course you can always make sure that you get a lot of pressure against these structures, and that's what I'm currently trying to do. We have the Lost Soul also taken, so the reduced cooldown on the Shadow Dagger, and that usually means that you go for Cold Embrace on level 16 as well. It's just like so much synergy between the two talents that it would be a waste to not do that. Kreiko in the mid lane, they're still soaking experience, but of course we are seeing Kappa getting slightly ahead with the move that they made here. We also have them now with the Storm Bolt built once again on the Escape, and it's extremely strong against structures then later on in the game if you go for Sledgehammer. Nice dodge, good jukes here. The Escape might not escape, but nah, he gets away. There's like no Moonfire, no additional lockdown, no roots to go. Terra has to retreat. And for now we have in the mid lane again Kappa with the temple. So job well done here. Level 4 hits basically at the same time for the two teams, but it's a slight lead that we now have for the Polish team. They're currently here at level 5 nearly, and destruction taken on Arthur's. We're seeing a Beetle build with Legion of Beetles on level 4. Snowstorm has been taken for Jaina. Top lane completely pushing against Kappa, and they have only Muradin here. Where exactly is Tyrande? Tyrande is currently going for the first camp. They're trying to get the Siege Giants, but at the top lane there's still a push against them with 3 heroes here, one of them being Jaina. They're trying to lock down the Escape. They should actually be able to get that. Well, are they going to get the fort? I'm not quite sure. Not with Tomzi moving in. And there comes a nice condemn, but the Howling Blast was already used. Stormbolt is decent, but yeah, Arthur's running out of mana, so they should retreat here. The Escape is trying to be back, but that fort is under a lot of pressure, and they actually saw the Escape move back, so they can just simply go in and take down the fort, no problems whatsoever. Even locking down Johanna, but is there going to be... Yes, there is an Iron Skin still ready for her. The bot lane, that's a different matter. That's where we see the Siege Giant camp now pushing in, and together with that they are also now in a position where they can use Muppet with this level 4 talent, which is actually the Paralysis, so goes for the increased duration of Black Arrow by 100%. It makes it a bit easier, and also it really affects the Shadow Dagger, so the entire Shadow Dagger build just became even stronger than before. And Nuborak got a bit wrecked though by an Uther. Yeah, how embarrassing is that? Like, I'm not quite sure what to say. If you're a Nuborak and you get taken out by an Uther on a solo lane, then yeah, you definitely made a mistake somewhere along the line. So in this case, Uther proves to be the superior tank, more or less. We have Conti moving back here with level 7. There's currently no mule, but Malfurion could still take one. The spines are taken here, so at this point we're having... This is actually one of those pushing talents. Usually when we see this, I'm actually a bit curious right now. If you really want to go for a push Anubarak, then I would have expected the level 4 talent as well that does AoE damage with the auto attacks, because it's an amazing talent to take. It's really strong, especially when you go for this level 7 here. And it might sound a little bit weird when I say this, but it's something that has been done in the past. One of the Greek team used that once on Blackheart's Bay, and Anubarak alone was able to soak all of the experience in the mid lane and also in the top lane, just because he moved from wave to wave. He got all of the Regeneration Master stacks because of it, and his team could push the bot lane with 4 heroes because he went for both of these talents that I just mentioned. In this case, it's only one. They still want to have a few beetles around, and I guess that's good against Muradin, since his stuns are of course not going to hit as easily if there's beetles everywhere that could soak the damage, or at least one of those two, because it is the piercing bolt that he runs on level 7. No mule taken, by the way, and we're having them moving in again. Bot lane, that's where we're currently seeing both of the teams in full force. They're really going for it here. Chubik is already on the temple now. We have Jouf trying to heal them out. Go Terra, so far not initiating, and he could go for Muppet, doesn't want to. Blizzard in the back line on Sypho. The Escape moves in. The teams are really trying to get in a position with another good condemn on Tomzi, and they go for the healer, and Malfurion heals himself, tries to get away. Good Howling Blast against Muradin, but they're not focusing on him. They're trying to save Malfurion, and that didn't work, but they killed Zagara. The problem is that it's level 10 on the side of Kappa, and they have the Blessed Shield, Wailing Arrow, more Divine Shield taken, and Muradin, of course, is going to go for Avatar, and that triggers an immediate reaction out of Puszek. They had to move back here. There was no way for them to stay on lane even longer. It's 2 kills against 1 at the top lane. We have Uberim now trying to defend against the camp here, which is going to be super important. So right now, he's trying to depush the lanes, and then that also he takes a lot of experience for his team, which should give them level 10 in just a few seconds. So far, actually, we don't see a talent taken for Muradin, but there is just no way that he takes Haymaker, right? I mean, come on, give me a break. Avatar is just so much better, and we all know that. I've never really seen a Haymaker taken in a professional game, only when they were trolling. Oh, Locust Swarm! Now, that's an interesting turn of events, going for the Locust. What was that, by the way? Not really the best Syndragosa that I've seen there. I'm not quite sure why they don't go for the web against an Uther. That seems like a good idea. Go Terra diving in deep though, and now they could also, they have Gary in play. Their Escape is in trouble. Jumps away. Syphos rotating over. That could be a good more there, but he doesn't even have to go for it. They take down Johanna before that, and now once again we have the Polish team moving in. It's still an interesting choice, I feel, to go for Web Blast. Web Blast is really not a talent that is all that good these days, because it got nerfed in the last patch. Now it does less heal and also less damage, whereas you have an 8-second CC, one of the best CCs. You can't even miss that thing. I mean, how are you going to do that? Click on the wrong hero. If you really do that, then you kind of deserve it. So Web Blast is amazing, especially when you're up against the Malfurion or against an Uther, and in this case it could always prevent the Divine Shield when they're trying to focus on a hero like Zagara. I'm a bit surprised to see that they went for Web Blast, especially with a double tank line and a Malfurion behind you. I'm not so quite sure if you really need that extra survivability. We already have a pretty good amount of survivability talents and abilities on an Uberak, so yeah, that's a bit odd, but still. They want to have a tankier front line, so why not? Top lane is being pushed. That's of course the danger of running up against Zagara and Sylvanas. The danger down here is that they are going to be attacked while this boss attempt happens, and they are already moving away because they realize, well, that was a bit of a bad idea. Would have only worked if Kappa didn't realize that it would have gone for the top shrine or top temple, which they didn't. Down here, Chubek in trouble. Syndragosa moves, and that was a good one. Hitting nearly everybody, but a good Divine Shield of Johanna allows her to move away, and we have Muppet using the Haunting Wave to escape now too. It's a slight lead in experience that we're seeing for Puszek, not a big one though, and both of those temples are still active, meaning that the two teams could now try to go in and take those shots. Chubik is going to be in an amazing position, by the way, against Zagara. He's going to be the one hero that Zagara hates the most. Zagara already is just like, yeah, trying to activate the Twitch trolls to make sure that Arthas gets a lot of hate because she's saying like, well, he takes down my creep tumors. Yeah, he's also trying to lock down Muppet, but doesn't get that chance. Howling Blast in this case missing. But with the aura, with the Frozen Tempest, he can reveal the tumors quite easily and take them out, and that's exactly what he's going to try and do. The bottom temple is now in the hands of Puszek, but they want to fight for it. They are already moving in. Level 13 talents are not available to either one of these teams, and they are going straight for a potential kill here. The Escape actually at the bot lane, maybe in a bit of position there, but of no consequence as they're going. Oh, nice move against Johanna! But she gets away, gets healed the more for the disengage. Go Terror has to move away, but they take Johanna down, and now they turn it around once again with the Tranquility already in action as the Escape jumps away with his Dwarf Toss. They're trying to go for Gary. Here comes Syndragosa locking them down. Muppet jumps away to the back line, but they are able to slow down Escape after eliminating Zagara. Another quick Dwarf Toss in the last second, but the Escape goes down regardless. A lot of damage here on Jaina. Well played, and that is a triple kill for Puszek. Very solid performance here. Well done, well done. So currently we're seeing in the mid lane Kreko, Chubek, Terra, Juve and Uberim going straight for the boss. They're trying to take the boss now, and well, with this they will have another additional pressure down on the bot lane. That extra talent on 13 of course helps too. I mean, we are seeing already an ice block, we are seeing Relentless, there's a bit of additional damage with the Burning Rage. Full Moonfire, by the way, and with that normally we see hindering Moonfire at level 16. That's a super annoying talent. It's a very interesting Malfurion build. It actually doesn't really go into a lot of healing with Enduring Growth on 7 or Life Seed on 13, but it's more one of those utility builds that you have in the hero, relying heavily on Tranquility instead for the heals. Muppet, by the way, should really think about what he's doing up there, because he's about to fall, and yeah, Puszek moves in just a bit too late to get the kill here against them. So currently we're having up at the top the last few shots going in against them, down to the bot lane. Uh-oh, there's the kill against a Nuburak. He got a Nubu wrecked, and the 13 talents are of course by now also available to the team to the right side. Kappa in the 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series here with overwhelming affliction. So we are actually seeing Muppet with a full build on paralysis, if you so want, the Black Arrow, and at the same time Zagara with Giant Killer. Giant Killer going for a lot of damage here. You oftentimes see these days also battle momentum taken on level 7, especially when you're going up against an Illidan, because Hunter Killer is a great talent against Illidan to put some pressure on him. If you have that double Hunter Killer on level 16, you can set 2 on him, and then of course get a few more after you get shots in with battle momentum for the cooldown reduction, so that's pretty solid. For now, though, we have both of the teams still pretty close. It's a slight lead that we're seeing here for Pushing. We kind of saw that throughout the entire game. Level 15 versus 15 now, but it's closer to 16 for Pushek, and they are taking more camps on the map. They've also taken down additional structures here. The problem really for them is that with Zagara and Sylvanas against them, it's quite easy for Kappa to take structures down. They eliminated every single fort already, but in the mid lane we have now the pressure by the Polish team. They want to get the additional fort, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. You can already tell that with the 16 talents. There it is. Oh, the Lunar Shower, not going into the Hindering Moonfire, but using the Lunar Shower. Okay, that is interesting. So even more reduction on the cooldown. Mana costs have already been reduced, and the radius increased. So Moonfire all the way. A bit of a damage Malfurion when if you so want. So yeah, that Storm Bolt hit 2 beetles. Show those beetles who's boss this game. Show them how it's done. Getting the beetles in here and like dropping them. The boss, by the way, we didn't really follow the boss, but the boss, of course, pushed the bot lane a bit and did a bit of damage against the wall, but nothing too fancy. They were trying to gain the map control with it, and they succeeded in that, but yeah, didn't really have to follow it here. There was no like big engagement afterwards. 16 versus 16 now, and there is still the Brute expansion, so no additional Hunter Killer talent on level 13, but Tilstake in the 16 one. 2 temples about to activate again, and let's see how that's going to work for them. With a Cold Embrace now used on 16, well, not really a surprise here on Sylvanas after that level 1 talent that we saw in play. Stone Form for Meridian, Benediction for Uther, and the fight takes down Zagara. Nice lockdown. They try to go for the escape. Syndragosa trying to lock Muppet down. He gets cleansed, though. Conti moves away, but the lockdown against Johanna is too much. She used Iron Skin already. No trade available anymore, and that's another double kill. They move in, and the problem really is the damage on the side of Kappa. In the last game they were able to work around that with a lockdown, but now they are relying too heavily on Zagara. And I already mentioned earlier that that last pick on Sylvanas really surprised me a bit. When it comes to pushing power, of course they're an amazing spot, no doubt about it. But in team fights, they are lacking. If the escape hits, oh my god, like that was really well done. They did not expect the dwarf to move in like this, but the escape was evaluating his position not quite correct here. Moves in, does a lot of damage, and they nearly got a kill off, but the escape is now down, and everybody on the side of pushing is just moving away. They saved the keep, though. Extremely important for them to save the keep, but there's still a few temples on the map, so we could see a few shots soaked by Puszek, and they are trying to do that on both of the temples, actually. Even using now Gary the Gargantuan up in the mid lane. Uberim on the Zebo is doing whatever he can. Tomzi is going to try and chase him away, though. But the bot lane temple, that's a different matter. And you can see that the first keep is already gone, and now it's the mid keep or the bot keep that is being attacked here. So that is going to become quite annoying for them. But the mid, that's where currently Kappa is trying to make their stand with a good kill against Malfurion. That's one of the big problems. If you are not relying on an ice block at level 13, then you can't really be in a position like this. You have to move back. There is no other way. Can they take down the bot keep, though? They should be able to just barely get that in. Terror? I think he could have soaked that. Okay, he got the full duration. And yes, double keep already gone. So 2 of the keeps are gone. He TP'd back. They are apparently going for boss, are they? Yes, they are indeed. So they're going to try and catch this one. Is there going to be a contestation on the side of Puszek? They should know what's going on. They should at least check. But so far they haven't done anything. Now they start to move in. Malfurion is still missing, and that's an issue. GoTerra is there. Is he going to move in? Ah, well, he was thinking about it, but that was a bit too optimistic. Level 19, nearly 20, and that's going to be the important part, of course. If they hit the level 20 talent and then they can take one of those fights, even against the boss, they should be alright, unless, of course, they get stunned by him. Then it's a problem, especially if there's follow-up damage. And so far, nah, it doesn't even look like they're going for it. They're just trying to go into the mid lane. So they're going for that split push. We're having at the bot lane, the boss, they're focusing the attention of them. Nice damage, by the way, on Escape with his sledgehammer and the perfect storm on level 1. He should let the boss go and try to flank up here at the top, and that's exactly what they do. Level 20 talents aren't ready yet, but they use Syndragosa, and they're still moving in already. There comes the stun. Silence even used for Moped, and here comes the disengage more with the Divine Shield. All of the ults out, every single one, but Zagara is down, Johanna is dead, and now they're chasing once again. Moped is jumping away in the last second. Now the Haunting Wave is in cooldown. He's trying to mount up, and he can maybe Uberim do something about it? No, he doesn't get in position. But they have now their Bolt of the Storms, and they could try and use those. They already bolt forward, try to go for Uther. Uther moves away here. Conti keeps himself safe, but they go for Core. And now with the 2 catapults in the backline, that's a ton of damage that they have here. It's a 5 versus 3. They want to have game number 3 in this case, and it looks very good for Puszek. The Polish team goes for Core, and they will be able to drop it. GG and well played. We are going to see map number 3 between Puszek and Kappa. And Puszek, they take it, they tie this series. We are going to see a third map, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 3 is going to be Garden of Terror, and this time I promise you a couple of interesting drafts, and we have another one. Zeratul went completely through the ban phase and got picked off by Kappa, and they play him together with an Abathur. So they have Rhaegar and Abathur to help out Zeratul. As more damage in the back line, they have a Kel'Thas, and then at the front line, it's Myrden that they're running here. So we're gonna see some Zeratul action, one of the best Zeratul maps, by the way. And on the side of Puszek, the Polish team is trying to run this with more of a Team Liquid style composition. Team Liquid, one of the first teams that focused heavily on Zagara and Nazeebo, and that's exactly what we're currently seeing for Puszek team here. So they're going to try run these 2 damage dealers with a double warrior front line, and let's find out which team can take it here. This is the last map. Whoever takes it here will advance to the final. Is it going to be Kappa? Is it going to be Puszek? We're going to find out together now. Game number 3, everybody. The final map in the best of 3 series here. We are in the semifinal, and both of these teams want to advance. And well, we have Puszek going up against Kappa here, and Garden of Terror is our last map in the series. We have to the left side again, Puszek team with Uberim on Nazeebo, Chubek on Arthur's, GoTerra on Johanna, Juf the Turtle plays on Malfurion, and Kreku on Zagara. To the right side of the map, it's Escape on Myrden for Kappa and Conti on Rhaegar. We have Cypher on Zeratul, Tomzi on Abathur, and Muppet on Kel'Thas. So Abathur and Zeratul are, of course, going to be a beast to deal with. We are seeing a push Abathur. Haven't seen one of those in a long time, and there's a couple of really interesting dynamics with Abathur. A few of the things that I really like. I've been talking with Fnatic about it, with Team Liquid to a certain extent, and others as well. So one of the things that I find really interesting is that if you, for example, play a support Abathur, right? You're trying to go into all these talents that support an Illidan or a melee assassin in general. And then you go into the ultimate evolution. That is not as strong as people currently think, because having that double Illidan in there can be quite annoying. But the problem is that while you have the ultimate evolution in play, you can't hit anybody. So you can't really just simply use the Abathur symbiote to help out your melee assassin. So that's a problem. That's why a lot of these heroes that go for such a build by now just simply use the monstrosity, and the monstrosity is strong. And right now I don't know what Abathur in this game is going to go for, because if you imagine, for example, a team fight up at the top lane, right? Abathur can jump in with the symbiote after quickly casting the monstrosity at the bot lane, and then you have a lane pushing at the bot with the monstrosity, Abathur can just simply move it back and forth the entire time and jump back into the team fight right away. And you have up at the top lane then that fight raging, and the monstrosity is pushing in against your opponent. In this case, on the other hand, we're having a very, very good Abathur copy with the Zeratul, so you can really dish out some damage. Talking about damage, Kreku is already experiencing that firsthand and dying here. To be fair though, maybe when it comes to Zeratul, the problem that you have with the Zeratul copy is that it usually doesn't too much in the long run. You kind of jump in, get your attacks off, and try to go for Singularity Spike plus Cleave, and then you jump out again, or you just die. So that could definitely be a monstrosity game. So Abathur, on a big map like this, has a lot of options. And I love that we're seeing the survival instincts on level 1, because most of the days you actually see the support build, especially when the melee assassin is in play. Right now we're having at the top lane against the push, and oh my god, if Kreku dies again, that would be so terrible for them. And yes, Zagara is down once more. Guys, this is a nightmare right now for Puszek. They went into Demolitionist on level 1, so the whole idea here for them is to push the lanes and really get an advantage by taking down a few structures and solidifying an experience lead. And they lost Zagara now twice, and they haven't even pushed in a single one of these towers. The towers even have ammunition still, so this is horrible for them. This is really, really horrible for them. We have to escape Muppet and Conti in the mid lane, or well, at the top Terror now, trying to do their thing. And right now, this is a disaster. This is really a disaster, because this is a ton of seeds that Kappa is now getting. At the bot lane, we're still having Abathur soaking some experience. As you can see here, it's even now the cooldown on the nest, so it's going to be a lot of nests that he's going to place just all over the map, and probably on level 7 we're going to see that... Oh, not again! Zagara! 3 deaths already, and the heal to keep Zeratul alive. Even the escapes here with a quick jump. Uh-oh, but Puszek goes in. Yeah, but the problem for him is that he doesn't get the Howling Blast in, so the escape is actually able to get away here. I didn't even take Destruction yet, so he's still waiting. Apparently, well, is he going to make another choice? Nah, there's the Destruction talent. But yeah, Abathur's out on the map, so he can get a bit of an experience. Actually, as I said, he jumped to the top lane to soak the XP here. But still, it's 77 seats already for Kappa, and Puszek and his boys are currently just trying to rotate a bit and put Zagara into play at the bot lane, because she's basically getting wrecked up at the top the entire time. Yeah, over here we have now also more seats taken, or attempted to be taken, by Kappa, and the fight ensuing once again. Lockdown against Sypho. He needs to get away, so does Muradin, both of them very, very low. But Abathur could now move out at the top lane, since we have a rotation from Nazebo to the mid. We have on level 4 Feral Heart taken for Rhaegar for the lane sustain, and the Colossal Totem on level 1, so didn't go for the mana reduction on his healing wave. There again, they're going straight for Zagara. Kreku in a bit of trouble. They didn't go for Arthas. They had a chance, but they didn't want to. Now they take him, and they eliminate him too. Sypho is able to escape, helps with the creep wave, and the escape is going to finish Zagara now too. He might actually die. No, Abathur helps him out with a quick symbiote. 5 kills against 0, and now the seats are up for grabs for them. Very good start into the game that we are seeing here for Kappa. They have Abathur far out though, so they could even move in and try to catch this wave, but it's going to move against the wall, so that's going to be pretty good for them. It's going to be dishing out additional siege damage. At the bot lane here, we still have them trying to wait for somebody to appear so that they can put some pressure in. And all that allows Abathur to soak even more experience up at the top lane. Level 7 therefore reached a bit faster for them. They can use that here at the bot lane to create additional pressure as the Terror is being attacked. Cleanse is ready, and so is Follow Through. So they are rotating in again, and Abathur is going to be happy to help out with another symbiote, but both of the teams are now on level 7. Now Conviction taken after the Condemn Knight takes Pawn Talent on level 1. Lockdown against Zeratul. Really heavy lockdown, but the turtle is dead. They take down Malfurion, and now it's Arthas that needs to be careful, especially with Conti using the chain heal wave to heal out everybody here. 2 talents not taken yet. There it is. Rapid incubation for Zagara. It's going to help her a bit with the sustain, because, well, let's face it, that Demolitionist talent on level 1 so far hasn't really done too much for her. So even with the creep spread, there's not really a whole lot of it. With all those heroes having abilities that they can use to take down the creep tumors, Lightning Shield for example, or the Cleave, it's going to be tricky. First plant 5 minutes in, so they can use that to really push back the mid lane and take that out. As again, the pot already planted down. Terra at the top lane, on the other hand, is pushing in. There's not really a lot of resistance. Tomzy actually getting away in plain sight here. Moves into the middle. And at the bot lane, there's a heavy push as the plant distracts them, since it is moving to the top. So we have 3 heroes rotating over to deal with it. And Tomzy is now with the rest of the team just pushing the bot lane, as Abathur can move in with a symbiote hat, but there's still Chubek to consider and also Naziva, so the two of them are trying to push them back, and so far they're doing a decent job with this one. Up at the top lane, Sypho, yeah, he has to be really careful here. Not a lot of hit points left on that plant, but he has forced 3 heroes to rotate over. Problematic is that Tomzy wasn't really able to get too much experience at the mid lane, so we have him now at the top lane trying to correct that, even helping out the fort here. Bot lane has been pushed in pretty heavily by the Escape and his 2 helpers here, Muppet and Conti, but they have not taken out the well yet. It's only the wall that they were able to get, but they have level 10 now, a bit faster than the opponent. Abathur up at the top. Apparently the Slug is dead. The Slug is already down. Slug Alert and Terror together with the Zagara, they get their kill in, and I guess they were pretty happy about this one. Level 10s for both of the teams now, and we indeed see the ultimate evolution. No Monty in this game. We're seeing Avatar, Ancestral Healing, Void Prison, and of course now also Gary the Gargantuan. This time no Syndragosa, but the Army of the Dead. Yeah, the Escape can't get the Stormhold in. He already knows that there is going to be the trade. Iron Skin was used very early, and Sypho with the initial damage straight against Arthur's Army of the Dead already popped in the back. The Void Prism, Arthur's very much alone, heals himself again, but gets taken out. Nice start into the fight, the Maw only catching Zeratul here, and they push everybody back, so I guess at this point it's really starting to be time to go for one of the camps. But we still have Tomzy on the Abathur copy, jumping in, dishing out more damage. Of course he's on a timer here, quite literally. He knows that that would be... Uh-oh! That, on the other hand, was a bit unfortunate. Apparently, we had Zeratul trying to do what Abathur just did, and that didn't work out all too well. And the timing is not too bad. I mean, like, of course, there's never really a perfect time to die, but if you do, then you might as well try and die at a point where there's nothing in terms of objectives on the map, and that's something that he could do here now. Bot lane with more experience, so thanks to Tomzy. 7 kills against 2. So, we are seeing Puszek fighting their way back a bit. They are trying to do what they can. Top lane, that is where Terror is attempting to eliminate a fort. He might actually be able to get this one. It's already out of ammunition, so that's the thing. Camps taken for both of the teams now that we're seeing Nightfall, and that's a lot of seats that are up for grabs, and especially Kappa has to move over to the seats and make sure that they get a lot of them, because thanks to them having an early plant already, they are now behind in the seat count. And they didn't really do too much with their early plant. They got a bit of damage in, eliminated a tower or 2, but they couldn't kill a fort yet. And talking forts, up at the top, this one has just now been destroyed. Bot lane, that's where we have all of the seats ending up in the hands of Team Puszek. And up here at the top, it looks like we might just barely get one for Kappa. Yeah, there it is. Alright. So plant versus plant, but a 50 extra seats that we're seeing for Puszek. The Polish team, they have lost a lot of heroes, but when it comes to experience, they are far ahead now, because they were able to take down a few structures, especially at the top lane, where they eliminated the entire fort. We're seeing now at the bot lane them still pushing in, and they need to get the plant. It looks like Uberim is going to be the hero to go for it. And down here we have Sypho going straight for a move again. It's always Zeratul. Like, the melee assassin is in the plant every single time, and they're really creating a lot of space for the heroes at the top. So he moves to the bot lane. The reason is actually quite simple. There's still a few reminders of that bruiser can that was taken earlier. So pushing back that lane is important. And at the top lane, we have now a tri-lane. Escape, Muppet, and Conti. Uberim is even helping out with the defense. The Phoenix here is doing quite some damage against the fort, but not able to drop it. And down here, it's only Chubek that they have. So against a single hero, you usually can keep that pot alive for quite some time, thanks to the polymorph seed. And that's what he's using here now too. I'm quite sure if he really can take down one of the forts, but up at the top lane, it looks like finally we're having Puszek's plant or heading over to the mid lane. At the top lane, there's not really much to get. I mean, if you want to go for the fort or for the keep, then, well, you can try and do that, but you wouldn't be too successful, I suppose, not this early in the game. So he's just trying to drop the pots in the mid lane. Bot lane fort has indeed been taken, and both of the teams are now on level 13, as we can see here, with a double spell shield, and thanks to the survival instincts talent taken on level 1. We are now also seeing the level 13 talent. Abathur has been taken out, by the way, so yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. That's the second time that he died here. Not really the common Abathur play. Over here, Ice Block being used for Malfurion. He has his Tranquility up and just moves away for now. So we have Healing Surge taken, the Wormhole is in play, Flamethrower, we have a double Spell Shield, against Khaldor is probably a good idea. A double Ice Block too, well actually one Ice Block, sorry, my bad, the Trail of Frost on level 13, that's the talent that he goes for here. Could have taken a Spell Shield, I suppose, but apparently Arthur's with the Army of the Dead saying, got enough sustain, I want to have something else, and let's go for a bit more lockdown and try and use that in those fights. So once again, Tomzy here up at the top, trying to get experience points for his team. We have them now one level behind. A little bit uncharacteristic to see that with an Abathur in the team, who's trying to de-push the lanes, but he's currently soaking up at the top lane. We have a few camps taken, and those camps are starting to push in. The important part is really just relieve pressure from lanes, make sure that your opponent is going to be the one that has to really push these back, and that is something that they are trying to do, not only with the Siege Giant camp, but also with Abathur jumping in on the Symbiote Hat every now and then. His Locusts are of course currently pushing the top lane, and especially with that Bombard strain that has been used on level 13, that's something that you can really put in to just push these lanes back and dish out damage against towers then too. And that's what we're going to see once that the level 16 talent has been reached, where Locust Brood is going to be the important pick. Level 60 now already for the Polish team. Keep in mind, boys, no matter who wins this game will advance to the final of the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final. So right now we're seeing level 16 talents with Frostburn feats, a lot of damage and lockdown, by the way, for Arthurs. Very, very tough utility tank here. Not with the best sustain, like he didn't take that stone skin that he has on level 16. He didn't take the spell shield or relentless on 13, but he has a ton of damage now that he can dish out, and he's going to try and do that. And especially when it comes to lockdown, tenacious roots over hardened focus, that's also going to be a to deal with. So right now we have them trying to fight again. Bot lane is being pushed very hard, by the way. Abathur could even jump over here and give them a bit more lane push, and yeah, it's already doing that with the Symbiote, but he doesn't want to move the body into play. So we have him currently just in the mid lane here. Seeds on the map again, and already Puszek about to head into the next plant. 16 talent now dropping 2 though for their opponents, but they are a little bit late on the plant here down to the bot lane. There's the Locust Brood. Double bombs, we have Tidal Waves, Stone Form, and Ignite. The talents that you would expect here, and it's time for Abathur to really move out on the lane and get that Locust Brood into play. They also need a few more seats, and they currently don't have them. So they need to win a fight if they really want to go for them. So here they move in, try to take down a nice isolation here of the healer. Tomzy on the copy on his Zeratul. They take down Arthur's. Good early kill for them, and especially Muppet with the zoning here, thanks to the Phoenix, is doing an incredible job. Cypher is about to jump in again. Abathur still hasn't used Locust Brood yet, by the way. I feel that's a bit of a mistake. I feel he should have used it right away. They knew that the entire opponent's team was up at the top, but they need to get the seats now. So during all of this, the Locust Brood could have pushed in a bit more, but now they are at least up here at the top where he used them, so he's going to try and put some pressure on the fort. There's the plant already moving in for Uberim, but still Kappa with a plant on their own, so well played here. Up at the top, it's GoTerra. He's going to de-push this. Once again, kind of making my point here. They would have used that earlier on Abathur when they knew where the opponent was. GoTerra would not have been able to just simply move in with the Condemn because they were engaged in a team battle. For now, though, Barim, Kreko, and Juf are in the mid lane. Level 17 versus level 17, but still the leading experience for the Polish team. And here comes the plant. Cypher on the melee assassin, once again the one to control it, and Abathur is moving to the bot lane for the next Locust Brood. He's going to be all over the place now, and he has to be. Now down here we are seeing, of course, again the battle against the pots, trying to take them down as soon as they can. Now, of course, one of the problems that they really have is that Uberim is in the plant right now, and that means that Nazeebo cannot dish out his damage, so they have 3 frontliners, so to say, with Johanna and Arthur's. Not really the best hero, I wanted to say, for this. I mean, yeah, they have a bit of lockdown and control, but still, the damage is kind of missing. You need that range damage, and they only have Zagara, so I'm a bit surprised that they put Nazeebo in. I really thought they would use one of their 2 tanks, and I think that would have been the better choice here. As is, though, they are dropping low on the hit points. It's 25 seconds that they have. Cypher and Uberim are just like hitting each other the entire time. and trying to gain some control here. But during all of this, Abathur was soaking additional experience, was even like trying to push the bot lane in with the symbiote every now and then, and there he is again, and that allows him to just close that gap that we're seeing on the board. So for Abathur now, the move up to the top lane, he's going to use the Locust Brood again, and he's just making sure that all of these lanes are depushed. All of the lanes are pushing back now. Now the plant is gone on the side of Puszek team, and Kappa is moving in with another 20 seconds on the plant. They might be able to go through the wall, but Cypher is getting heavily pressured by Puszek. Throws in another polymorph seed, but yeah, they won't be able to get anything out of this one, are they now? Uh-oh, they need to make sure though that, okay, Muradin doesn't die. That was a bit scary for a second. Like, with a good lockdown, we've been talking about the talents that they have with the Tenacious Root on 16. You can achieve a whole lot with that. You can really do a lot with this. So, currently, we're having 18 versus 18. One of the problems that you have to also consider when we're talking about Arthas and his sustain is that once that he uses the zombies, the army of the dead, he can lose all of them against Muppet with Phoenix and Flamestrike. So, once they are gone, well, good luck staying alive, because there's nothing to sacrifice anymore. Bot lane here, pressured again. This is just Abathur doing his thing now. And you can really tell that the experience lead is gone, right? I mean, that was an entire level that they had, and it's completely gone. So they are a little bit ahead still, but it's not a level anymore. So really nice soaking that we're seeing from Abathur. Maybe not at every single situation, but when it comes to the experience, soak is still at 16,000 here. Zeratul, though, with a solid 12,000, so very well played here. And we're seeing similar numbers on the side of the Polish team. 8 kills against 3, still in favor of Team Kappa. And level 20 talents are going to soon be ready for both of them. The night falls in 9 seconds, and Puszek team is going to have a big lead again. If they hit their talent during the night or just before the night starts, then they will be in a great position to take team fights, and it looks very much like that's exactly what's going to happen here. They need to close a small gap, but it is a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. Admiral Akbar is moving in again. Oh, Kreku, so far out. But the Maw is good. The Maw is really good. A nice heal here against Zeratul. Void Prison used. And they try to take down Zagara. Oh, God, she's eating so much damage now. That Ignite is hurting. But the level 20 talent is amazing for Puszek. And they are trying to hunt them down now. Indestructible already chosen. We have a double bolt of the storm. No 20. For the red team. Kappa is trying to disengage. They're just running here. They need more experience and they know it. Zeratul with a quick blink escapes Uberim. I do not think that they can take him down. No, GoTerra is going for the seeds instead. And they will have very soon another plan ready for themselves. The level 20 talent is going to be so close. Down here, I mean, taking down the siege giants that you could see on the map a second ago, that is going to be an important one because that delivers some experience, and this is going to drop the level 20 talent into the hands, and there we have it. So there are a few rewinds that we could see. The first one already taken by Muradin. Rewind number 2 by Zeratul. And talking Zeratul, he just got wrecked. They go straight for the Zebo. Oh, the Ignite takes him out. So it's a 1-for-1. At least that's something that they could get here. A 1-for-1 trade. Nazebo against Zeratul. So a hashtag worth it in the end at least. Nazebo in this case, it's not really the old school build where you have gathering power, so unfortunately for them they didn't like turn him out of his stacks, but still. We have Hive Mind taken by Abathur, so that helps in the fights a ton, by the way. It really helps a lot. One of these talents though that you can also only take really use of if you do not have your copy active on the map. Cypher. Oh, okay. So everything good again. Cypher apparently dropping out and dropping or lagging. So yeah, they apparently have a couple of huge lags here. That's unfortunate for us, but well, let's see what we can do with that. So currently we're having we're currently just having a situation where the talents have been taken. It allows us to talk a bit about what exactly has been going on here. So let's have a look at that. We currently see in terms of like damage, we have, keep in mind of course the terrors already feature into this, which is apparently very transparent if you're looking at the siege damage of a few heroes. For example, Zeratul, even with Cleave, you would have decent numbers, but still it's 114,000 for him. Abathur is on 132,000. We're having hero damage 49,000, and looks like everything is good to go again. So not as much time to really talk about these numbers as we thought we might have been, but yeah. So right now we have them again pushing in or like trying to defend for now. Abathur is a beast in the late game when it comes to push. As long as he doesn't show himself on the map, he's going to be fine. But look at the seeds now. We have one plant for Puszek and no plan for Kappa. And that's a really big deal, because you somehow have to defend against it without losing too much. I don't really think that they can go for core here. I think it's very unlikely. But they can maybe take down a keep, and that would be a great start for them, especially since Abathur would then have to work that lane in particular to make sure that it doesn't push against them. And that will take a bit of the pressure away from the other lanes. So that would be a big deal to Puszek if they can make that happen. And they kind of have to. So they're moving through the mid lane right now to do exactly that. Uberim is already on his way. Kreku is here. And yep, there we have it. Moving in, trying to zone them out thanks to the Phoenix. That's what we're seeing Khaldor do. It's kind of his job as well. That's in the job description. Tomzy is pushing in and soaking experience. He wants to put pressure on the top lane to force them back, or at least one of them. If he can force them to retreat, that would be amazing for him. But right now it's still a 5 versus 4 down here, and Abathur is going to jump in whenever he has to. He will use the copy if need be. But, well, at this point we have also all of the cooldowns ready. Phoenix is the exception, but of course he's going to fire out his Phoenix whenever he can, because the cooldown is so low. But the keep is going to fall. I mean, it's just too much. Too much poke, too much damage. The sustain on the 2 tanks is great as well. Abathur is still pushing it up at the top, and now he's going to get both of these towers. He's going to get them easily. The question is he going to be able to put pressure onto the keep itself? So they are moving back. There should be a quick B in just a second. Abathur with a copy. They want to go for it. They have in the back line now the double Zeratul in just a second, and it looks like they're going to go for the healer. They isolate Arthurs, and the copy is gone. Copy gone, but Muppet gets healed in the last second with an ancestral healing. Where is that symbiote? Abathur at the top lane cannot also get his locusts out again, but Uberim has another 16 seconds, and he wants to drop keep number 2. Keep, by the way, is still on full HP, but not for long at the top lane here. So maybe Kappa can get a counter kill against the keep. Uberim with another pot. The keep is not going to fall here, even if they don't attack it, but they are super low right now. Especially Zeratul. Oh, he gets locked down. He needed to blink away, but he didn't have the cooldown ready. And now they just move in, drop keep number 2. Great position for them to be in. Up here, quite a bit of damage already done, and the ammunition is being drained, but this is an amazing spot for Puszek to be in. Taking down 2 keeps is a super big deal. And Abathur, I mean, he needs to do something, but it's already Juve on his Malfurion working against him, and that's not going to make things easier. He took a few of the hit points off the keep, but even if he gets it here, yeah, he's already moving back. He realizes that with Malfurion getting in position, there's very little that he can actually do, because the chance of him getting found is too high. Muradin dying to that roam there. Nice hit, by the way. Really nice flame strike. 4 heroes hit by that, but still. Muradin down for 50 seconds. Kappa is in trouble. It's the 3rd game. Kappa, they won on Sky Temple. They won map number 2, but now again they're struggling. They are just desperately trying with Tomzy to push these lanes back. But Knight has fallen again, and even though Kappa has more seats, they are now the ones who have to fear that they won't be able to get another plan, because they are still in a 4 versus 5 situation. They need their 5th hero. They need that tank, and they just don't have him. Conti is there, but we already have Chubek rotating in again, trying to get the next camp up at the top lane. Yes, that's another dead terror. And it's the plan. It's definitely going to be a plan for the team, and they are trying to steal 10 more seats away, and they should be able to get them. Now, alright, they need 5 more. Should be an easy pick for them. But they are just barely going to be able to take another plant, and, well, actually, if they get the entire thing here, that would be a different scenario. They might even be ahead overall. But Cypher, yeah, Cypher moves in, Singularity spikes, the plan is already underway. Abathur still has to guard the base. 6 kills against 9, and let's see. Is Abathur going to be able to push these lanes back and maybe finish also during the fights the fort up or the keep up at the top lane? That'd be great. But Uberim right now in the mid lane, they could even try and go for core. It would be a gamble, and a big one at that, but maybe they're thinking about doing it. And so far, okay, they're slowly starting to move up to the top. And that of course means that Escape has to defend even more now. Catapults everywhere. Here comes the plant, uses the pot. Great position, by the way. Really good zoning here too. So the towers are going to fall. But besides that, are they going to be able to drop more? Maybe the keep. It will be the last one. Tomze on his Zeratul Kobe blinks away, but is eliminated. And Abathur himself is now up at the top lane here, pushing this one in. But still, over here we have... That means, of course, with Abathur pushing that top lane in, by the way, he's a bit exposed, but it also means that no waves are going to help out this particular push here. And that's going to be super important. If there are no waves, then the only thing that the fort can focus on are the heroes that are there. So that's what they're currently doing here. Slow them down. Pot in position again. We have another 40 seconds against a minute. Locked down, but the keep is already at roughly, well, 60% health, a bit more. So, yeah, very tricky. Right now, this is a shitty position for them to be in. The red team, of course. If you overextend, your opponent's going to take you down. If you don't move in and do something, then they might get a keep, and it's the last keep that you have. We don't see a mule, so there's nothing I can do with this. On this map, mule is also not the best idea. Especially, of course, if you're running a hero like... I mean, they could use Abathur with a mule, but he wanted to go for the mines. Abathur would have been the only choice here for them. But still, all of the keeps are alive for Team Puszek. The Polish team, they are so close to moving almost to the final. And they are either going to face Bob or they are going to face Gamers 2. So, which one of those two teams it's going to be, that's what we're going to find out in the next semifinal. But for now, Uberim to escape, bam! Tree trunk to the face, and goodbye, Nazebo. That was actually a very important kill, and here comes another lockdown. Oh my god, they get the second kill against Muradin. That more came too late, but it is still a lockdown attempt with the Void Prison. And boys, this could change everything. This could literally change everything here. Muradin, Arthurs actually tries to get away, and he gets dropped too. It's a triple kill, and that means keep. That means keep. They have to take a keep now. They move to the top lane. They're trying to drop this one, and there is no way it's going to be defended. No way whatsoever. Not with 3 heroes down. That's suddenly a chance. Is it going to be a game of throws that we're seeing here? Terror is moving in with a Condemned, trying to buy some time, but the keep is obliterated. I don't think they can go core. Are they really trying? There's no way. Is there? 12 seconds on Nazebo. Can they really go core? There comes the answer, still healing. They might be able to. Nazebo still 7 seconds. Zagara with the damage. Krolu low. Runs into the towers. Krolu. Oh, Krolu is dead. 70% on the core. And back is Nazebo. Nazebo is back. Malfury in a second. Zeratul is already down. They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. It's not going to happen. 40 seconds. For 30. And everybody dying. The escape. Oh my god, like, oh, wow, that is painful. I was actually really surprised that they went for it. I mean, like, that looked so... it really looked like they couldn't, like, they shouldn't, you know... not with Nazebo coming back and poking here and everything. But right now, the only thing that Puszek is doing is just move cross map. There's only Tomze, and Tomze is just not enough. Yeah, Slabathor is going to do what he can, but he's even baiting a bit here in the back. Krako is going to try and attack him maybe. No, he's going to maul him. More on Abathur. I don't see that too often. The core is going to fall, and so does Abathur. He doesn't even move. He's going to go for the dance here, and Krako is going to take him down potentially. Nope, he's not. They're just dancing together. GG, and Puszek team moves towards the final of the ZOTAC Cup Monthly. Congratulations. What a crazy finish for the map here. We see Kappa moving in. They think that it's a Hail Mary move. They really feel that they need to do it right now. Move on to the core. And you could really tell from the beginning that might not go their way. They move in. They do all the damage that they can dish out. And it's 18% on the core. And then Puszek, they move cross map after they annihilated the entire team and finish the job. Puszek advances to the grand final where they are going up against Bob, so that's going to be a pretty good one as well. But for Kappa, of course, a bit frustrating. The game never really went in their favor. They didn't get those seed counts that they wanted. They always struggle against these plans, and then in the end they really thought, alright, this is our chance. This is maybe way we can do it. We have to win it right now. They felt forced into this battle, and they were trying to core it. Unsuccessfully, which is of course sad for them. Puszek wins 2 maps in a row, and therefore decides the best of 3 series with the 2-1 in their favor. And well, this is going to be an interesting final that we're going to see there. The series here also quite a lot of fun. We've seen a bit of Azmodan, we've seen Zeratul, a lot of different combinations that teams were using here. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, of course, give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. And if you have any questions, then just throw them out in the comments. And of course, make sure that you subscribe to Khaldor TV if you haven't done it yet. Thank you very much for watching today. Hope that you guys are going to have a great week. And I'm going to see you next time with more content here on YouTube.